Chuck+Colson from Prison Fellowship.
I just have a closing word because you've heard enough, and I can only say amen to what has been said so far. I just want you to know I've spent the last 35 years in the bowels of society in our prisons, and I've seen the importance of the dignity of human life because every one of those inmates I see in that prison is made in the image of God. The Manhattan Declaration, which I signed this past weekend, is the most important document I've ever put my name to because it calls the church to action in a time of great spiritual struggle. Hi, I'm Chuck+Colson with this week's 2-Minute Warning. Would you have signed the Declaration of Independence? Would you have put your John Hancock, so to speak, beneath the words, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal"? The stakes were high. Fortunes and lives, a nation, hung in the balance. But I bet you would have signed. Now will you sign a declaration today saying that the Bible is true and that about all it teaches, especially about human life, about human freedom, and about marriage, is true? Well, nearly 500,000 of you have. But many believers, I'm sad to say, have not. Many refuse. And every single person I talk to is committed heart and soul to advancing the principles behind the Manhattan Declaration. And they want to keep the momentum going. As you've doubtless heard, Apple caved in to the gay rights activists and has removed an iPhone application that allows users to view and sign the Manhattan Declaration. In calling the Manhattan Declaration offensive, Apple is accusing those of us who wrote it, and more importantly those who signed it, of incivility. But they got it backwards, folks. There's nothing uncivil, much less hateful, about the Manhattan Declaration. It respectfully promotes the sanctity of every human life, traditional marriage, and religious freedom.
Is a wake-up call to serious Christians everywhere. The threats to religious freedom are real. The president has articulated some beliefs that simply do not align themselves with our faith values when it comes to the marriage question, when it comes to life, and that all relates to our religious freedom too.
Yeah, okay, I can hear some of you saying, Chuck, you're going a little far on this one. I only wish I were. Twice in her speech, Mrs. Clinton referred to freedom of worship. But freedom of worship is not the same as freedom of religion, which is guaranteed in the Bill of Rights. Thus, freedom of religion is from God, not a gift from the Secretary of State, or not a concession by government. No Secretary of State, no government has the right to take it or define it away. Make this point clear to your friends and associates while you still can. Hi, I'm Chuck+Colson. We've come to an incredibly serious moment in American history. We're facing the issue of whether we will continue to enjoy freedom of religion or not. A few years ago, a few of us got together and thought we might someday get to the point where civil disobedience was called for. In fact, we wrote in the Manhattan Declaration, if you remember, and you should go back and read it if you don't, we will render ungrudgingly to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, but we will never render to Caesar what belongs to God. And we made a covenant that we would stand together. 500,000 people signed that. We have come to the point, I say this very soberly, when if there isn't a dramatic change in circumstances, we as Christians may well be called upon to stand in civil disobedience against the actions of our own government. That would break my heart as a former Marine captain loving my country. But I love my God more. And you all may have to face that. Look, what do we have to do? We got to get people to sign the Manhattan Declaration. Then we got to get them not only to sign it, but start talking to the neighbors. And go and sign the Manhattan Declaration. Get your friends and families to sign it. And be ready to step forward, to become a leader, to organize rallies, and to get your elected representatives and let them know we will defend life, traditional marriage, and religious freedom, no matter the cost. I'm Chuck+Colson. That's this week's 2-Minute Warning.
Specifically, we ask our signers to continue to be a voice on behalf of life and marriage and religious freedom within their specific realm of influence, their family, their friends, at their church, at their school, in the grocery store, with their neighbors.